What's good, Black Star Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. This your boy Jared. Y'all, a lot of y'all talking about this whole 50% of women thing. 50% of women by the year 2030 is going to be single and childless. Yeah, we got a woman right here about to start crying her tears. And I think oh, yeah, it's Pearly.
Telling you, it's ridiculous what they're doing. Ridiculous.
So, everyone knows the commonly cited Morgan Stanley study that half of women are going to be single and childless between the ages of 25 and 45 by 2030. Now, it's 2024, we're 6 years away, and we're already starting to see this, right? And I had somebody recently say to me that he just expects to be a single parent because that's the way the world is going. And even though this is kind of a gloomy outlook, I couldn't help but think he was right. And the reason that I couldn't help but think he was right is I'm already starting to see it. So let's say half of women don't marry, don't have kids, okay? What happens to the other half of the women? Let's be generous here. Half of the women that have kids, let's say a third will be single mothers. I think we all could agree, on both sides, that's probably about true. Now, let's say the 2/3 get married. Now, we know that half will divorce, so then you take out that half. Now you have the third of the half, which is 15, 20%. Let's just say 20% of women. No, that's too high. Let's say 15% left that stay married. We know a quarter of marriages are sexless. I would argue that's on the low end. So you take out a quarter. I mean, that's maybe 5-10% of people that are married. And it's really interesting because I'm going to keep seeing the cope, right? I'm going to keep seeing everybody say, return to traditionalism. And don't confuse this with being my hope. This isn't what I hope to happen, but what seems like, and every indication is showing that it's going to happen. We've liberated women to the point that they don't need men. They're given jobs we don't deserve. We're overpaid, and we're given government incentives to leave. So many women have chosen to do that. I'm guessing about a quarter of women by 2030, maybe 2035, will be doing sex work to some capacity. I think you could argue it's already that high with the rise of OnlyFans, but we all know that academia is always going to censor information that makes women look bad because you see it in real time. Whenever I say any information that makes women look bad, the gut reaction is, 1, what did the men do? And 2, something that excuses the behavior. For example, if I talk about women making bad choices, what do you guys do? What does the simpery do? Oh, it's the culture's fault. Oh, it's feminism's fault. It's never the woman's individual choice. Now, what does that tell us? We actually live in a culture that doesn't shame women for doing any of these decisions. You see female single mother influencers on the right.
You know what I find really intriguing, though? By not holding women accountable, it actually hurts women.
All I'm going to say is this. It's insane that this is going on. By the year 2030, a lot of women are going to be single. I'm saying this, and I genuinely just want to say this. I genuinely do. They can't blame men for this. There's been a rise in men's podcasts that are talking about a lot of this stuff. And the thing is, a lot of these women don't want to hear it. A lot of these women don't want to do anything about it. And the problem is, with them not wanting to do anything about it, it's causing them to be at a disadvantage when it comes to trying to find somebody that's respectable and that respects them. It's leaving women at a very big disadvantage. And here's why I say that. If you are so willing to doggone rip men's head off when we're trying to explain to you and tell you that what you're saying and what you're doing is wrong, and you get aggressive with us because we're telling you something that challenges your beliefs, that's a problem. Regardless of the way we put it, regardless of the way we say it, regardless of any of it, if we're giving you a critique about something that's going on and that we can see that's coming towards you fast, you need to stop, listen, and actually evaluate what we're saying. Problem is, women don't want to be accountable for any of the stuff they do. You have a bunch of kids by multiple men. Oh, those men were toxic. You have 300 plus bodies. Oh, I was just out here having my fun. Now I'm trying to look for somebody that's going to take me in my disgusting state. Anytime it comes to trying to hold a woman accountable, you have a lot of women that are out there trying to say, oh, she's young, she's this, she's that, all this bullshit, instead of holding that woman accountable. Then you get women coming to comment sections trying to defend the bullshit when they know it's wrong, and they defend it. How can you defend degeneracy when said degeneracy causes all of you to look bad? Now I'm not talking about all women, but it's a massive majority of women that agree with a lot of the bullshit that a lot of women are doing nowadays. You have mothers agreeing with women, their daughters, about the degeneracy. You have grandmothers joining in on the degeneracy. You have the elders not trying to hold these women accountable, but trying to hold the men accountable for talking about this shit. And it's becoming a very big issue because at the end of the day, who's going to be the one that's going to be trying to get married? Who's going to be the one that's going to be crying because they can't find a man that's going to take them very serious? It's not going to be the men. It's going to be the women. It's going to be the very same women that tried to check men about what we were saying, and then at the end of the day, they're the ones that's crying. You can't sit there and try to blame men when men are trying to help you at the end of the day. If you refuse to listen, you can't be mad when you get the results that you get. And that's what a lot of women are starting to find out. They're getting the result that they're getting because they refuse to listen to what men were actually trying to tell them. And as far as I'm concerned, you didn't listen, so they said, fuck it. And they're starting to go overseas to find somebody that's actually going to listen. What do you think the whole passport bro movement came from? It came because women decided not to listen to what men were telling you. And now you're starting to find out that the men were actually trying to warn you before it became a problem. Now it's a problem. Now y'all crying about it. Well, sweetheart, don't cry about it because you're the one that did it. Anyways, like, share, subscribe to the channel, support the podcast on Spotify.com. See you guys on the flip side. Thank you guys for listening. Bye, guys.